Roberto, thank you very much for joining me today. I'm sure everybody is very interested in hearing your insights into the topics that we're discussing. The first question I've got for you is how integral is intelligence humility for the person, for somebody's personal development or the growth of an individual?
Well, this is a very good question, Danny, and this is something that I'm particularly fond of because intelligence humility means that you might be a smart guy, but you have to be humble enough to accept that there might be a smarter one in the room. Therefore, intelligence humility is something that, especially when you are in a bigger team, everybody's an expert for something. So everybody will know more than you at some point in some specific situation. You just need to sit back, relax, and listen, and ask the silly question. Because sometimes a person also just boasts with intelligence, but when somebody really knows what they're talking about, they were able to explain it to the least intelligent person in the room. Intelligence, humility is a characteristic that I think every leader needs to really have because they just don't know it all. You are completely reliant on your team, and your team are the experts. You're just trying to keep them happy or that they're steered in a right direction.
Yeah. Perfect. Thank you very much. I think, intelligence humility is such an interesting point. It's something that, I have mentioned very little. And I think it's probably something that everybody could benefit from. I think it's been said before that a good leader is somebody that has amazing listening skills. And I think that comes into this a little bit,
Correct.
being open to listening to people and allowing their expertise, as you say, to come into your thought process. I think that's all part of it as well, isn't it? It's a great way to lead a team.
Yeah, I mean, don't forget always the Dunning-Kruger effect, if you're familiar with it. Sometimes the people that talk the most are the ones that know the least because they they do not understand the full scope of the complexity of the problem. And intelligence humility basically makes you, just like you said, listen. You listen, and then you ask questions, and then you listen again, and you ask questions again, and you help your team guiding you, or the project, or the department, because you don't have all the answer. It's silly. The person that says, "Yeah, I know everything how this business should be," yeah, come on, man, no. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely not. Brilliant, brilliant. Okay, thank you very much. So, question two is, what's one piece of advice that you've been given that's had the most impact on your career personally?
Uh, Failing is fine. Failing is fine, and it was followed up by learning by burning. What does that mean? Very simple. If you did everything right if you did everything right and everything is very transparent the way you did it, all the steps, and something broke down, that's fine. It's development.
Hmm.
It's fine. It's not supposed to be perfect on day one. So it's okay to fail, and it's best to learn out of it. So this was it. The first time I burned down a prototype, which was tens and tens of €1,000 worth, I was, let's say, afraid, to say it in a very nice way, of the consequences and my boss. And then as soon as I explained, I did this, I did that, I did that, I did that, they were like, okay. I was like, oh, really? That's it? Yeah, yeah, you found that there was a problem here, here, and here. Good job. I was like, okay, cool. So failing is fine as long as you are transparent about it and show also the learning curve. Of course, didn't repeat the same thing again, but yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the most important part of that, isn't it? It's using that opportunity to learn and develop, as opposed to making a mistake and failing, and then not really paying much attention to why it's failed, and then doing the same mistake again. I think that's troublesome. But yeah, like you say, if
Yeah.
if you're open to looking back through everything and finding out where it went wrong and then coming up with a solution, I think that can only be a positive thing, can't it?
Correct. I mean, you're gonna get only gonna get scolded if you repeat, like you said, if you repeat the same mistake again, or if you don't even know why it happened, and or even worse, you hide it. It will come out.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. No, definitely. Perfect. Thank you. And the final question I've got for you then, Roberto, is what positive impact do you feel AI can have on the day-to-day practices within your teams and the wider engineering industry?
Hmm. Well, automation of manual work, even on an engineering level. So when it comes to documentation analysis, you have to imagine there are people today sitting in a room reading hundreds and hundreds of pages of documents and try to link them all together to create a requirement. AI can make this automatic. Out of that requirement, a test kit, these requirements need to be tested, so a test kit is created. So again, there's another person sitting in a different room taking that requirement and making a test case out of the list of requirements. And this can all be automated. Already, large language models are capable of doing this, actually. There are some companies also working on it. Uh, this will lead to taking away the I'm not going to say boring because for some people it's exciting to be honest. But to the lengthy manual work of reading, interpreting, sorting, um, I will make it much faster. If I would take one of the examples from the industry, or I'm in automotive. So normally you'll have, depending on of course, depending on the size of the project and so on, and the complexity, you'll have one, two, or only a half of a requirements engineer working on a specific product. With AI, you can have that one resource working on many more projects at the same time on that side of things and on the other side as well. So I've seen it. I've seen it working. We're actually working with a company on it right now because there are lots of regulations as well that we need to pay attention to. And it's just a matter of time until the engineers really just surveil those results of the AI to check if everything was correct, to see if it makes sense, but they don't need to write it themselves anymore.
Yeah.
And this is, let's say, the easiest part. I'm not even going to start talking about software development, coding, and things like this. No, no, no. Software developers would kill me if I would listen to what I'm saying. But one thing is for sure, on the documentation side of things, many of the topics can be made or can be solved by AI.
Brilliant. And as you say, that's a huge positive because it means that those engineers that would previously been doing that work can actually apply their knowledge, their expertise, their efforts on something else. And then they're almost, getting to work on something maybe a bit more exciting. As you say, some people may find that mundane, and it gives them an opportunity to focus on the more exciting parts.
Correct, correct. And you have also even other industries. A friend of mine who's a lawyer, they see the large language models, and they are using the large language models already to sort through the all different cases. While before you'll have like the intern dig through now, or the junior partner or something like this, junior
Yeah,
associate. But now no need, press of a button, boom.
amazing, magical almost.
Yeah, it is. It is sometimes. It is uh, nerve rattling, to be honest, because all of a sudden this hidden brain somewhere, you just press the button and then boop, it's there, and you're like, oh, okay, this was
Yeah.
fast, and this was good too. Yeah.
Definitely. Brilliant. Well, thank you very much for your insights there. It's very much appreciated. I'm sure everybody will love listening to it as well.
Thank you, Danny.